Well, you just saw that amazing video of the Roberta Golding Visual Arts Center. That really has been a great addition. The city has partnered with the JAFE on this, and it really is a popular program, and we're lucky to have it housed here at the Jewish Community Center. But one of the things that excites me the most, Jack, is what we're about to talk to. Jack Ross runs the Florida-Israel Business Accelerator. So this is not just a place for people to gather to eat great food or to get healthy. This is a place to create those relationships between Israel and Florida and take the technology that's occurring and growing and incubating in Israel and find ways to apply it here in the United States, but particularly in the Tampa Bay area. Jack and I were on that first trip to Israel that Jack organized, and Jack has been the driving force behind the development of this site for the last, how long, Jack?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
5 years. Supervised the construction. Really has been the guy to make all this happen. And so I give a lot of the credit to this building being what it is today to Jack Ross. And thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, and I to my colleagues, it's never one person, right? It's a group, but thank you.
And he hasn't aged a bit. My hair is completely gray since I've become the mayor. He looks the same as he did.
He does look like a youngster here, for sure. A lot of it and unchanged.
Well, welcome guys. Welcome to the Florida-Israel Business Accelerator, FIBA, we call it, by its acronym. We're a soft landing pad for Israeli high-tech ventures, trying to attract them here to Tampa Bay, align them with industry sectors that are indigenous and prominent in our area and to U.S. Special Forces, U.S. SOCOM, and to ultimately have them open a U.S. subsidiary right here.
That would be incredible.
High-tech, high-paying jobs and growing our tax base and growing our economy. This is a special endeavor. From our trip in 2011 that Israel is the startup nation.
Yes, it is.
A country of just over 8 million people, very finite market, surrounded, unfortunately, by enemies. Perhaps one day we'll have access to a greater market in the Middle East. But for now and for today, the United States is one of the primary markets Israeli companies look to expand. The United States being the market. And so what we have done is we've entered into a cooperative research and development agreement with the U.S. Special Forces. Very forward-leaning gentleman, James Hondo Gertz.
Yeah, we know Hondo.
And what U.S. Special Forces, SOCOM, are doing are giving us the opportunity, the ecosystem here in Tampa, to leverage a multi-billion-dollar asset and to enrich our entrepreneurial ecosystem. They look to civilian innovators for new technologies to map to their gaps, sometimes outside of what people would traditionally consider for DoD acquisition or military acquisition, in a broad spectrum of areas: health tech, med tech, education technologies, even agri-tech, even food tech. Anything that Special Forces would touch on, they're looking for the newest, latest, and greatest, most agile and responsive technologies so that they, in turn, can answer our enemies who are agile and nimble and using, $100 drones to capture cell towers and things like this. They can't shoot that down with a $50 million missile. They need new technologies, and they're looking to civilian innovators. So we have the Tampa Bay ecosystem, and we have wonderful entrepreneurship, wonderful technologies that are being developed here, but we also have the startup nation. And that's where we come in. We're here to complement the growing ecosystem in Tampa, to bring Israeli innovative prowess to Tampa, to align them not only with SOCOM, because it's difficult to scale, right, within the military, and it's a long runway for entrepreneurs, but to align them with commercial enterprise, industry sectors that we have indigenous to us. I mentioned a few of them: ed tech, agro-tech, health tech, and look for those technologies that have dual applicability. Technologies that SOCOM may be interested in, and we can apply to those industry sectors, scale them, make them more valuable. That brings what? Venture capital into our area, which is something that we sorely need, and then launch these companies successfully. Get them to open U.S. subsidiaries right here in town, right here in the Tampa Bay area, and it's a win-win for the entire ecosystem.
And the fact that Israel and Tampa, there's such a connection now, and in part, well, due to what you guys have done for the most part, I
Well,
would say that's fantastic.
I mean, we've got a sister city, the city of Ashdod in Israel, that we have visited. The Jewish Federation gave them a contribution to help build a bomb shelter and a senior citizens home. So that relationship does exist. But Jack, you'd be astounded when you go over there at the entrepreneurial ecosystem and the energy behind Israel's technology sector. And we are their biggest customer, I think, as a nation.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about Israeli technology and how it affects the day-to-day lives of Americans, you know, our cell phone, Israeli technology. Drip irrigation, Israeli technology. Many of our cutting-edge medications, Israeli technologies. Firewalls in our computers, instant chat, and I can go on and on. So this little country, this tiny little but very special country, has contributed to humanity innovations that affect us on a day-to-day basis, and we want to bring that prowess here.
Now, we've seen in other cities, I guess Boston and Massachusetts in particular, how that relationship has blossomed. Tell us a little about what you envision 10 years from now, this center looking like, and that relationship.
You know, it's remarkable. There's an outfit called Mass Challenge in Boston, and they began in 2009. They began with public monies, and inside of 3 years became financially sustainable. And in that time, they've brought over 200 Israeli companies. Now, those 200 companies accounted for, in 2015, 9,000 direct jobs, over 27,000 indirectly with the multiplier effect, $9 billion toward their GDP, and $18 billion on a multiplier effect, accounting for 4% of Massachusetts' GDP in 2015 alone, based on 200 companies. So we now have 6 companies in our pipeline. We've opened our operations December 8th when we cut the ribbon on this facility. We began our operations. We have 6 companies in the pipeline. We plan to bring 20 companies a year. That means in 5 years we could have 100 companies and have at least half of those numbers that I've just told you for Massachusetts.
Oh, that would be
a windfall.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
That would be a windfall in brain power, in economic development, and in culture. Because this is the other part of our coin. We're not only a business development, and by the way, this operation, the Florida Israel Business Accelerator, is the first of its kind of its program in the United States ever put forward by a Jewish communal organization. No one's ever done it, okay? The one side of the coin is business development. We've just talked about that. The other side is community engagement. Here we have a new platform from which the Jewish and non-Jewish community have a chance to intersect and interact with Israeli entrepreneurs, with Israeli culture, to understand what is Israel at a time when misconception in the news and in other places says all of the wrong things about Israel. So this venture is not only important from an economic development standpoint, but from a community engagement standpoint.
Is this one of a kind? Well, I know you mentioned they have something obviously similar in Massachusetts to be so successful up there. But
It's the first of its kind in the state of Florida, focusing on Israel high-tech companies. It's the only one of its kind in the country put forward by a Jewish communal organization. So here, the Jewish Community Center and Federation, a 501c3, has created an initiative called the Florida Israel Business Accelerator. Suddenly, a community organization has gotten into the business of advancing or complementing business development with a cultural component.
that's what's really remarkable here, the marriage of all of these things in one place. I mean, a cultural center, a banquet center, and things like that, and then all of a sudden you find out that this is happening out of this one, I mean, this most important building in town, in the country, in the state, or something like that.
It has the potential to be, as you know, these companies spin off and they get incubated here, and then they go out and start purchasing real estate and buying buildings and hiring people and contributing to the GDP. So we have about 2 minutes left. So you have 2 people over in Israel right now. At doing what?
So our liaison to Israeli companies and our technology, our entrepreneur, our COO, Saru Shashadri, and Rakefet Buckhorn, she's our liaison and director of marketing. They're meeting with the entire portion of that robust ecosystem, with accelerators, with incubators, with startup companies, with all of the components that make up their ecosystem. And they're letting them know that we're open for business here in Tampa, Florida. We're letting them know the other thing, because we've been described as the missing component, that we are an organization that concentrates on sales. That is, we have a company with a minimally viable product ready to launch in the United States, and we're focusing on developing lead generation, sales, developing distribution, manufacturing, launching these companies and building value in the companies. There are other accelerators in town, Tampa Bay Wave, USF Connect, all of whom we're complementary with. They're for more early stage companies. They grow them from their nascent stage in technology development. We're taking companies that are a little more robust, have proven technologies, and we're focusing on how to grow them. That's the pivotal difference, and that's why we're of such value added to those companies, because we become a trusted partner. And remember, we have a communal side of the whole equation. So you bring an Israeli founder with his or her family, and not only do they have a place to grow their company, they have a place to integrate their family.
Into the
Instant
community.
family, yeah.
Into the community. Yeah.
All right, now you know why we're so excited about this. This is not just a place to come and eat great food and swim and work out. This is
And
a place.
I don't think anybody knows about this.
No, they don't,
too.
but they're about to know as soon as we get done with this show.
Yes.
So, you know, just think about the magnitude of what we're talking about here, thinking about what an investment that the Jewish community has made in this building, but more importantly in our future. Stay with us. We got a lot of more great stuff to show you.